The case of this little girl is one of the most strange disappearances of people that occur almost in front of other people in a matter of moments, and when the service dogs cannot pick up the trail of the missing at all. For researchers of anomalous phenomena, such cases are considered proof of a person falling into a crevice or portal between the worlds, which opened only for a moment and then slammed. Paranoid people have a theory that there is a complex kidnapping when the kidnapper watches his victim long and closely, waiting for the moment when she will be left unattended. In doing so, he calculates everything so carefully that he leaves no evidence. More reasonable people attribute everything to accidents, a combination of circumstances, poor police work, negligence in the investigation, and so on. June 25, 1983 began as a bright and fun day for 4-year-old Nyleen K. Marshall. Together with her family and family friends, she came to a popular picnic and tourist site in the Helena National Forest, near the city of Helena, Montana, USA. All this large group had come here for an event that Nyleen's stepfather had arranged. He was a member of the local amateur radio club Radio City Radio Club and declared this day a day of family outings of club members to nature. So along with Nyleen's family, there were a lot of other families with children on the playground. The air was filled with the laughter of children playing in the clearing, and the adults were also having a great time eating and chatting. So the whole day passed safely, and the families were beginning to prepare to go home when something strange happened. Around 4 p.m., a group of children and little Nyleen were playing near a tiny shallow stream that flowed at the edge of the picnic area. Among them were 2 older brothers and a sister, who were told to look after the baby. At some point they went a little ahead, and Nyleen ran after them. They had time to see her following them, and then, just a few moments later, they turned back again, but the girl was no longer in sight. At first the children thought that Nyleen was playing hide and seek, or that she was about to jump out of a bush or from behind a tree and try to frighten them. But the girl did not appear, and this alarmed Nyleen's siblings. They called the other children and all began to look for the baby, but she disappeared into the ground. As soon as Nyleen's siblings realized that it took them too long to find their little sister, they got really scared and ran to their parents' clearing. After their story, all the adults were alerted and all went to search the nearest thicket to find the child. They searched every yard around the picnic area and even went further into the woods, but there was no sign of Nyleen. The stream was so shallow that it was impossible to drown even a 4-year-old child, but the stream was carefully examined. Nyleen had been running barefoot at the time of her disappearance, so it was believed that she could not have gone far into the woods, and if she had, the marks of her bare feet would have been visible on the ground. But when they searched the forest, not even a single trace was found. When the girl's disappearance was reported to the police, huge crowds of volunteers, police, rangers, officers with dogs and others quickly came out to search for her in the woods. It was one of the largest search operations in the state in its history. The search area gradually became wider and wider, and it soon became clear that a 4-year-old barefoot girl could hardly have gone so far on her own without leaving a trace. There was a theory about the kidnapping. Among the search teams was an officer with a dog named Duke, who was considered one of the best searchers in the United States, and during his career, helped find many missing people. When Duke was allowed to go to the place near the stream where the girl was last seen, Duke sniffed a little and at first even seemed to hit the trail, but after a couple of meters he lost it and never found it again. The search operation lasted for 10 days, during which a huge piece of forest around the picnic area was thoroughly checked. And when Nyleen was most likely pronounced dead, 2 unexpected witnesses appeared. 2 of the children who were playing by the stream when Nyleen disappeared said they were approached by a strange man in a tracksuit. One of them was very much scared by this man, so the child ran away, but the second child remained, and he heard the stranger ask him to go after the shadow. These statements sounded very strange, and it was unclear how to treat them. Whether the stranger had anything to do with the girl's abduction, or what his phrase about the shadow meant, was never found out. The police tried to get a description of the man from the children, and they even drew a portrait of him, but this lead never came to anything. After that, the police began to believe that there was no kidnapping, and that Nyleen just went very far into the woods and probably died there. Later, other theories were put forward, including police questioning Nyleen's birth father, suspecting that he might have stolen her daughter, but no evidence was found against him. Nyleen's family was desperate to find her, paying for her photos to appear on milk cartons. They also offered rewards to anyone who knew where Nyleen was or what had happened to her. 2 years later, the story of the missing girl resurfaced in the news. On November 27, 1985, a strange man called the National Center for Missing Children and said that he had kidnapped the girl. And 2 months after that, an eerie anonymous letter arrived at the post office in Madison, Wisconsin. In it, someone described picking up little Nyleen K on the road near the park between Helena and Boulder, that the girl was scared and crying, and he hugged her and comforted her, and then brought her home. Since then, he allegedly keeps the girl in his home or takes her on trips around the country. He wrote that the girl had grown up, that he took care of her, fed her well and did not cause her violence, but secretly gave her medicine from his sperm every morning. In general, the letter was written as if it was written by a pedophile with a perverted fantasy. Then the mysterious stranger sent several more such letters and tried to call the police and even Nyleen's parents. However, it was not possible to find him, and even more so to detain him. He just stopped calling at one point and never called or wrote anything more. It remains unknown whether it was just a troll, a madman or a real kidnapper. At the same time, various eyewitnesses in these days received several reports of sightings of a girl similar to Nyleen, but none of them was confirmed. Then there was a letter from another anonymous person claiming to have killed Nyleen and hidden her body in an old mine. It was specified in detail what kind of mine. The mine was thoroughly searched, finding nothing there. When Nyleen's story was shown on TV in British Columbia, Canada, in 1990, in the TV program Unsolved Mysteries, the studio received a call from someone who said that he knew the girl and that she was studying at his school. Curiously, when the police arrived at this school and found the girl in question, they identified her as a certain Monica Bonilla, who was kidnapped in California in 1982. What was it, a strange coincidence or a mysterious game of the mysterious villain with the authorities? In 1991, a man named Richard James Wilson claimed that he had killed Nyleen Marshall and even indicated where he had hidden her body. However, the police did not find anything in that place, and the confessor soon retracted his words. In 1998, a pregnant girl, apparently 18 to 19 years old, was admitted to the hospital in Helena. She behaved strangely and said that she could barely remember her childhood and looked vaguely like the missing Nyleen if she had grown up. A blood test was taken from her, which was compared with Nyleen's blood samples, and they showed that the woman was not Nyleen. Since then, nothing new has appeared in this strange case. The disappearance of Nyleen Marshall and now is causing a lot of controversy among researchers. How could you kidnap a little girl in a busy place like a picnic area without other children and adults noticing? Why couldn't any of the service dogs, not even the famous Duke, pick up Nyleen's trail near the stream? Had she been kidnapped and killed, or was she still alive and in captivity? Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos of mysterious stories and photos. Check out this playlist and I'll see you in the next video.